Gamers, welcome. Today we have news about Pokemon TCG Pocket, the trading system, and potentially new sets releasing very soon, so let's get into it. So this is a message from the official Pokemon TCG Pocket X account, and this is everything we know basically from them. This is the Pokemon TCG Pocket operation team. First off, we would like to use the opportunity to thank everyone who waited in anticipation for the release, as well as everyone who has given the game a try. And also, the more important thing is, to begin with, we plan to add a new booster set by the end of this year. In addition, we're aiming to add a new feature that allows certain cards to be traded starting in January 2025, and we're planning to gradually expand the selection of cards that are able to be traded. Also, we have other new features in development outside of trading features introduced here. We plan to announce more details about them in the future updates. So yeah, this is pretty much it. Now, there are two things we need to think of. First of all, the set that's going to be released by the end of this year. I believe this will be a mini set because there are some leaks that I'm going to talk about in a little bit, but basically we're receiving a mini set, and also we're receiving a trading feature by the end of January, right? By the start of January, pardon me. And so that is interesting that only certain cards can be traded. So that makes me think that we're not going to be able to trade every single rarity in the game. Maybe certain rarities won't be available to be traded at all, or they're going to introduce a new currency to the game as well for trading specifically. Maybe they're going to include the flare system in some way, because we do know that the flare system does give us some interesting things, and I'm going to talk about the flare system a little bit later in the video. But essentially it gives us more opportunities than just obtaining visual looks, so maybe that can be tied to it in some way. So there is a second portion of news that are not official from the Pokemon TCG Pocket, but rather we're receiving some leaks here and there, and this is basically what we know. Now, the dates might change, so keep that in mind. Basically, we have a Black Friday event next week possibly, and then we have Mass Outbreak drop event, store update, Bulbasaur and Magnemite event and store part 1 and 2. This will probably be like Chansey and Meowth event, something like that with the Wonder system. Also, we're gonna have the A1A pack release, which is what I said about the mini set. We're not gonna receive a big set, we're gonna receive a mini set, and then there will be another expansion releasing by the end of January. At least that's what we know from the leaks currently. So as I said, some of the things can be changed here because this is not official news from the Pokemon TCG Pocket team. These are things that people have been leaking, and I'm just including them real quick to explain everything. And this is everything we know about the future of the game in the next 2 months. Now, I want to go into detail a little more about the expansions and the trading. As of the expansions, we currently have 226 cards in total from the main expansion, which means that the mini set will probably have half of that, or maybe even less. So maybe it will be like, instead of a 3-pack thing, maybe there will be only 1-pack thing or something like that, or just way less cards in general. I'm not sure, but this is a good guess. Now, the more interesting thing to me is how they said that not everything will be tradable and only certain cards will be tradable. Essentially certain rarities, that's what I would believe to be the case. Let's take a look at alternative art cards because these are the more interesting ones. Clearly, we have the ability right now to not only obtain flair for them and somehow change them, but also exchange them for special shop tickets. Now, this could be interesting because maybe we're gonna require to have special shop tickets to do something with them, or maybe we're just gonna have to trade extra copies. As I said in my previous video, this will be a simpler version, but maybe we're not gonna receive that. Maybe there will be something new. Maybe they're gonna add shine dust to the trading system as well, because what we know currently is that we can exchange copies of a card plus shine dust to basically obtain either visual looks or special tickets, which is not ideal because from what we know from trading, you're gonna have to trade the card, aka lose it. And now the problem with that is simply the fact that if you spend your resources to obtain a visual look, you're not gonna be able to obtain something new. So essentially you're kind of wasting resources just obtaining visual looks, and even though they look absolutely beautiful, I really enjoy them, it's really not worth it compared to obtaining an alternative art card. So what I would suggest you do is keep your extra copies and don't use them yet, because maybe there's gonna be a system that will make you trade them in some way so that you can obtain better things. And if you can obtain the best rarity in the game for another card, it is way more worth it than obtaining a specific animation for the current card, at least in my opinion and most people's opinion, of course. It's just value for your money. Now, the other slightly worrying thing is the fact that you're not gonna be able to trade everything, right? So that means maybe they're gonna introduce trading to only certain rarities, maybe the lower rarities. And I think this is the safest option for the game, because this way they can test the system, and then if it doesn't work that well, at least they can change it, right? And if you trade something that's not so rare, it's not that big of a deal. While if you trade your most rare cards and then the system is changed in some way or improved and you kind of wasted the potential there, you're gonna feel really bad, right? So they're probably not gonna introduce it for the alternative art or the most rare cards in the game. I believe that they're gonna start with up until EX copies. That's what I think will happen. Maybe we're gonna be able to trade EX normal cards, but not the alternative art version of them. And that's gonna be the point that they're gonna stop and say, okay, let's just figure things out and then we're gonna add the other things. I think this would be a very cool thing because they're gonna be playing it safe and we're gonna see how the system works. We can give them feedback and then they can improve it if something doesn't work correctly, right? Of course, I would love to hear your opinion about the topic, so let me know in the comments below what you think. So yeah, this is everything that we know. Maybe I missed something. Let me know if there's something that I didn't add in this video. Also, if you enjoyed the content, of course, make sure to like, subscribe, check out my other Pokemon video, or if you want to check out other things in the channel, feel free to do that as well. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.